guys, we're gonna do another Hang Time episode, a little bit different this time. We're gonna be in person working out with Zach Vogel today. He is an obstacle course racer, bodybuilder. He's been on Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge. So many cool things, really blending like the training aspect of strength, hypertrophy, and endurance. So it's gonna be really cool to see his style of training and get a workout in with him. So we're on the way right now. Stay tuned. What's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up, Raechel?
All right, where are we?
We're at Heroes Training Systems. Heroes Underground, baby.
What do we do here?
We build the muscle.
That's right. Holy moly on these Spartan medals. Dang. Ugh. That's a ton. What's up, everybody? I'm hanging out with Zach Vogel today. He is a OCR athlete, bodybuilder. He's been on Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge. Really cool guy. Got to work out with him today. So we're just going to hang out and ask him some questions about his life and his training and all that he's about. So Zach, thank you for letting me in and working out with you and checking out your whole gym setup.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
Sweet.
We have my kids too.
Yes, the whole fam.
The whole family.
That's awesome.
It's a family affair. So
that's awesome.
No, glad to have you.
Cool. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your background in sports and training and kind of what you've been into in the past? Yeah,
well, I guess I grew up as an athlete, high school, college, played football in college, multi-sport athlete in high school, as most kids are.
Yeah.
I should say many kids are. And then, just fell in love with fitness and got into exercise science and wanted to see what I could do with the sport. I wasn't going to go pro in football. So I'm like, what else could I go pro in, to make something maybe pay for me to be able to work out.
Yeah. For sure.
So some of my friends turned me on to bodybuilding and stuff, and then kind of caught the bug with that and ran with that for a long time, and took my exercise science degree, and I started compiling workout programs tied between the old bigger, faster, stronger program for athletics in college to hypertrophy training from, modern bodybuilding with Arnold Schwarzenegger and, all the greats from back in the day.
Right.
And started putting these programs together. And I'm like, what if you could blend both and be big and lean, fast, strong, and athletic?
Yeah. The full
package. Right?
Yeah.
The entire package.
Yeah.
But then also just do everything you can do to prevent injury.
Right.
So to be injury free. And then if you do get injured, how fast can you bounce back?
Right.
So not just be polarized and specialized just in powerlifting or just in bodybuilding, but to be all of it, have usable strength and function.
Right.
Right. So that's kind of where my road led me out of football and into bodybuilding, and then from bodybuilding into functional fitness. And it wasn't just functional fitness. When CrossFit started getting big, actually when it first took off in 2007, 2008, 2009, a lot of my friends tried to turn me on to it, and I still wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
Wasn't bought into that philosophy yet. I love bodybuilding too much.
Yeah.
I loved hypertrophy. So yeah, just we kind of did our thing. We started a family, Heather and I, we got married in 2007, started a family in 2009. So we just kind of really focused on family, got out of competing, built businesses, successful entrepreneurs, just a lot of, my wife's a teacher.
Yeah.
So we just kind of turned into homebodies and hermits, but over the time process of, 2000 and I'd say about 2005 to now, it's been this process of building and developing our brand, our gym, We haven't really gone too public really with anything. It's just kind of been a slow going process, kind of like we didn't grow like bamboo, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's been growing like an oak tree, really steady and slow and strong.
Nice.
So
tell me a little bit about the business that you started and your Heroes training system and kind of how you go about training your clients, what you look forward in the future to having with that. And I know you're planning to possibly have a gym in the future as well. So kind of walk me through what that's all about.
Yeah. So, well, Heroes Training Systems, it's an acronym, there's two things we've always taught our kids, and it's respect and honor, right? So no matter what conversation, if we're having a really deep rooted conversation about, letting mom and dad know where you're at, about lying, picking up after yourselves, things like that, how you talk to one another, how you treat each other, it all falls under respect and honor. Right. So it's like,
that's great.
Are you respecting and honoring yourself? Are you respecting and honoring your mom and dad? Your friends, are you respecting them? Are you honoring them? Right. Are you honoring yourself? Like the biggest thing is keeping promises to yourself.
Sure.
So it was kind of born and bred out of that.
Okay.
So what Heroes stood for, it wasn't about Zach Vogel being the hero or Heather being the hero or anyone else being the hero. It was about people and parents being the heroes in their home. Right. Okay. So honor, empathy, understanding others, resilience. Okay. Resilience is a practice. Right. It takes hardship to practice resilience every day. So, and you can be resilient in all these different facets of life. Yeah. You don't have to be just a warrior, a physical warrior, but we all have different battles to fight every day. And you'll never outrun your mind. Right. So it's like the battles we face are typically inside. Yeah. And so the better we are at becoming resilient and the physical practice of training, that helps us become better mentally as well. Right. And if we start linking the two together and realize how interchangeable they are and how related they are, all of a sudden it's like we live a life that's elevated. Right. So, resilience, and you got ownership, you've got excellence. Everything you do, you don't have to be perfect, but it's just strive for excellence in everything you do. Yeah. And a wise man once told me, is like, how you do anything is how you do everything. Yeah. Right. So that's it's like, solid. If you got a messy room, look at the other parts of your life where there's dirty dishes. Yeah. You're not putting your plates away after you lift. Yeah. So all those things they're linked together. Right. So it's just about leading an excellent life. Yeah. Right. And then story. Okay. It's like we all have a story to tell. So it's like how we're telling that story, how we fit in that story. Right. Are we the hero? Yeah. Are we the villain? Right. We have the capacity to be both. Right. Right. So it's really about putting all those pieces together. And then where does fitness fall into that? For us, it was like it's an outward expression of your ability to train how you think. Right. Right. Yeah. And so how everyone thinks is a little bit differently, but as a coach, we can kind of find and extract those best parts and eliminate those gray areas to where I can train with you. Like if I were just custom training you and I wasn't like working out with you. Right. But if it were just you and I and find out exactly, you do my intake form, find out exactly, okay, what do you have access to? What are your ultimate goals and why? Yeah. When the going gets hard, how do you handle criticism? Yeah. All of those things, you start putting those pieces together and I can kind of build kind of a frame around how you think and how you perform. Right. And then we operate within that frame. Then we start tapping outside of it a little bit and finding like, okay, so what is she really capable of? Where are these growth areas for her? Yeah. But if we can eliminate those gray areas to where you feel comfortable, you're in a safe environment, you're ready to grow, right? And you allow yourself to become the best version of yourself, but I'm equipping you. I'm not making you dependent on me. Right. I'm helping you become independent. Yeah. Right. So that's where, like with all my clients, teaching them the basics, like it's Heroes Training Systems, right? It's not just a program. Right. And it's not just a routine. There are systems I have that work. And some people are like, well, why is the core complex always the same? Well, it's not the same. Yeah. Like it changes every single day. Yeah. But are you doing it every single day like brushing your teeth? Right. Because brushing your teeth is a system. Yeah. Tying your shoes is a system. Gotcha. Yeah. You don't see many adults going to Velcro. Yeah. Right? So just like lacing up your shoes, the core complex is something that we do every day. Right. We don't neglect it. And the things that we neglect are the things that atrophy. Yeah. So, and it's just how we see training. Okay. That's all. Yeah. And I'm not doing anything that's crazy new. Right. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you saw firsthand.
Yeah. There's solid like principles of working.
It's pretty basic.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't need to be complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where the fitness industry has gone in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
Is it's gotten really complex, and
For
it's
sure.
like, let's try this new move, and this is going to be better
like
than
12
that.
exercises into one. Yeah. It's gotten out of control.
Right. And then in some cases, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, great, that's a party trick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But is that a fundamental?
Right. It's the foundation.
Right.
For sure.
So we like to stick with the foundation of like the principles and stick with those. But man, we'll get creative. We'll do some funky stuff, and we'll start throwing in E3 moms. And, you know, I've had people throw up here, and, you know, it's not my goal.
Yeah.
But it happens, and you see people from all these different walks of life to where they've come from CrossFit and they come here and they love it. They come from here and then they go to CrossFit and they love it.
Yeah.
So it's really, it doesn't matter to me, because we're all here in the same sport of changing people's lives for the better.
Yeah.
Right. And it all falls under this huge umbrella of fitness.
For sure.
Right. And people have to identify what that is. And I guess our main niche is really helping people be ready for anything.
Yeah.
So as I said to you before, it's if we can help people kind of bridge that gap and understand that, okay, I'm capable of more, and how can I eliminate those weak links?
Right. Yeah. No, I think, that's one of the reasons that I reached out to you, was because of the very unique elements into your training. And it's like, I like that fact of being ready for anything.
Yeah.
And I think it's like you guys have a very holistic approach to your whole like training methodology, and I like that, because it's very much a mental, physical, emotional game.
Right.
It's not just physical.
Right.
Like it's not just writing workouts, not sets, like it's a whole holistic thing. So very cool.
Yeah.
Really like that concept a lot. And
just as much spiritual as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're not talking about being religious, but we're talking about being in tune.
Right.
Right? Being in tune to it's an emotional game.
Right.
It really is.
For
we
sure.
can't deny our emotions and our feelings.
Yeah.
Let's slow down.
Right.
You know, we just recently heard it was said so well. It was, as pace decreases, awareness increases.
Okay. Yeah.
So now with like in the realm of COVID, right?
Yeah.
COVID-19, which is where we're at now. So we're hopefully on the tail end of that.
Yeah.
But now in this season of life, it's forced people to slow down, but awareness has increased for everybody.
For sure.
Now take that to the bank, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So some people don't like what they see.
Right.
Right. And then the frustration and the anger and the resentment, I've spent more time on a road bike now than I ever have.
Yeah.
Because I'm new to it. I've been doing it for 3 months now. And I have been cussed at, spit at, had stuff thrown at me on the road.
Wow.
And it's like, well, part of me is like, tell you what, slow down your car.
Yeah.
And you step out of your car and I'll step off my bike and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah.
But as they're in their four wheels and they keep driving, it's like, I have never experienced such hate. And oh my gosh, I've had racist comments. I mean, you name it.
Wow.
It's been crazy. But
insane.
Here's what's crazy about all of that too, is the awareness. Like I'm so hyper aware that, and I try to practice empathy in everything I do, as hard as it is at times. But it's like, you don't know what someone else has gone through that day, what their life was like, and that you are at that given moment,
just like a catalyst.
Well, you're the whipping boy.
Yeah.
You're the one that's going to be taking the lashings, and it's not your fault. Right. It wasn't my fault for riding a bike and being, spit at and cussed at and snowballs thrown at while I'm riding a road bike 35 miles an hour.
Wow.
And it's like, why?
Yeah.
And it's not even my job to understand why.
Yeah.
It's just being aware that everyone's handling pressure a different way.
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. So.
But yeah, because normal people wouldn't react that way. Like there's obviously, if somebody's like has that much hate inside, something's going on. Right. There's something going on there. Right. So yeah, to be aware of that is key. Right. And to not take it personally, because it's like, there's obviously something going on there that it's not about me. Like I'm just riding my bike.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a super key component to life, I would say.
Right. Yeah. So self-awareness, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Leading an examined life.
Exactly.
Right.
Very cool. But yeah, I love the whole concept of the Heroes training system and all of that. But I want to switch gears now. So, kind of going into like the kind of different competitions that you've been in, and you've done a lot of obstacle course racing, a lot of Spartan stuff. Have you done Tough Mudders too?
No, just kind of stuck to Spartan.
Spartan. Okay. So, I mean, just when you look at you, you've got a kind of a bigger build, right? You wouldn't be like, yeah, that guy's an obstacle course racer. So tell me about like the experience and like your first Spartan, and then how that kind of trickled into more and more and more, and then where you're at now with that.
You know, it's funny. It's quite a story, because going from bodybuilding, and I had a guy back in when we lived in Wisconsin. So we've been in Colorado now for almost November will be 7 years. Okay. And I had a trainer approach me. He's like, hey man, I'm training for this Tough Mudder. And I watched him doing all this kettlebell stuff and the battle ropes and just the running and stuff. And I'm like, no. Yeah. No. I'll get hurt doing that. I mean, I tore my bicep riding a mechanical bull.
Oh man.
In Texas.
Yikes.
And so it's like this off the wall weird stuff. Yeah. You know, I'll stick to my weights. Yeah. I'll stick to my hypertrophy. Yeah. I'm good. I get a pump. Great. I feel good. Yeah. I look good. Yeah. I'm happy. And then one of my friends, pastor, was signing up for a Spartan race, and then, you know, he ended up following through and didn't do it. Yeah. And I had already signed up. I'm like, well, I gotta find some people to do this with. Well, there were a bunch of people in our church that were doing it, and so we had a group of, I think, 11 to 14 people that ended up doing this thing. Awesome. And so I did it. I had the wrong gear. Yeah. I had waterproof shoes on. Yeah. I mean, I thought they had great tread. I'm like, this is going to be great. My feet are going to be dry. No, well, that not only did they repel water, they hold it in.
Oh man.
So I'm running on sponge feet, and I've got blisters forming, but I'm sprinting up hills, like all the obstacles and the challenges, like the bucket carry up the hill, and the sandbag walks and all that stuff. They were runs, you know, the sandbag run. So I'm swinging like Tarzan on the ropes and stuff, and it was great. And I flew through the obstacles, but I was fried. Yeah. Like totally exhausted. I thought it was going to be like, okay, so if I map this out, it's going to be about 1,000-meter run and an obstacle. Yeah. 1,000-meter run and an obstacle. I'm like, I can do that. I can run from obstacle to obstacle, because there were like 25 obstacles. Gotcha. No, it's not like that. It's a 2-mile run. Yeah. And then there's 6 obstacles. Gotcha. And then it's another 2-mile run. And then there's 9 obstacles. Yeah. You know, so they were all spaced. They were grouped together. Some were spaced out. Yeah. So it was this random thing that was designed by Special Forces down in Fort Carson. And so I had a great experience, but I'm like, you know what? Check it off the list. Yeah. I'm done. Yeah. And my wife will attest to you. I said the exact same thing when I got home. And then some of my friends were like, hey, we're going to do the Beast in Breckenridge. Yeah. I'm like, no.
So what is the Beast?
So the Beast is 15 miles instead of 5.
Gotcha.
Right? So we're looking at about 5-mile to 6-mile run for a sprint. That was my first one. Yeah. The Beast was anywhere between, it was 12 plus. Okay. Right? Yeah.
Significantly longer.
At least twice as long. Yeah. At least. So there's a sprint is your, at the time it was 5 to 6. Yeah. Or, well, technically 3 to 5. And then the super was 8 to 10. Gotcha. And then the Beast was 12 plus.
So you just skipped super there.
Skipped the super, went right to the Beast. And I said no, but by that night, she's like, one of my friends, Lene, she's like, we all got a Groupon. Yeah. We can all go at the same time.
We got a Groupon.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. If we do this, we're definitely staying together. Yeah. Did we stay together? No.
That's great.
we all got out there. We had a ball. And then, we figured, we're like, you know what? Well, we got the hardest one, or the easiest one out of the way. Then we did the hardest. Yeah. And then there's this thing called the trifecta. Okay. Where if you do all 3 of them in a calendar year, you're in a trifecta. Nice. Right?
Might as well.
So then we found the super in Utah and did that, and the temperature got up to 110.
Oh, snap.
And it was fully exposed. There wasn't a tree on the single course.
Wow. That's
so
intense.
It's hot as blazes. People are drinking irrigation water on the course, which is a huge no-no.
That's safe.
I mean, so just there's cooties everywhere, bacteria, and just it was a mess. But we got through that one.
Nice.
And then we're like, you know what? Well, we did those 3. Why don't we try the Ultra at the World Championships? we try the Ultra.
This is all the same year.
This is all the same year.
Wow. Okay.
So then our friend Lene, she we made it through. Her and I stuck together for most of the race. Yeah. and we got to the top of the course, which is on top of the mountain at Squaw Valley over in Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
So we get to the top, and there's a swim.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it's October.
Yeah.
And so the water is like 40.
No wetsuit?
And there's no. And they said it was an 80-meter swim, but I would bet you it's close to double that, if not 200 meters.
Wow.
It was long.
Dang.
And so we did the swim, and then we had some more elevation to go up. And you didn't have, I can't remember if that year we had the opportunity or the option to burpee out of it, but if you burpee out of water obstacles, it was 100 burpees.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a lot of burpees.
So we're toast at this point, and we left at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to cramp up. My body, my tissue,
man.
it wasn't lack of hydration.
Yeah.
It was the tissue fatigue.
Yeah.
Right? So everything's just done.
Right.
Done. I'm looking for anyone who's got mustard packs or gel packs or anything or salt tabs. And no one's got really anything because it was one of the first years they were doing the hardcore Spartan over there.
Gotcha.
And we got to the top and the hypothermia set in. I run out of water.
Oh my
My
gosh.
friend gets hypothermic and she's in bad shape. So this is an attestament to like the mental side of it because I'm running out of water. All I had to do was get down, but it was so overwhelming for me at that point.
Yeah.
Like I've got to do a whole nother lap.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
I've got to do this whole thing again. If I go down now, I can get to my drop bin.
Yeah.
I got to do a whole nother lap.
Yeah.
And I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like I'm done. And my friend here, and she's like, we had to carry her down in the gondola.
Oh my gosh.
Get her warmed up by the fire.
Yeah.
Just everything we could do to keep her warm and keep hot water.
Wow.
Whatever it was. And I'm like, I'm done. Because if I went in with her, I'm tapping out.
Yeah.
They're taking my timing chip and that was it.
Yeah.
It took me 3 months to get over that quit.
Wow.
That DNF.
Yeah.
And I vouched, I'm like, I'm never going to let that happen again. So that was when like mentally I stepped into the zone of understanding how much mindset has to play with it.
Right.
But then I was so ill prepared.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for any of it.
Right.
So, but we went into this thing almost blind.
Yeah.
And just hoping that we could tough it out.
Yeah.
But we weren't properly trained and equipped for it.
Yeah.
So what I did is, you can go through an experience like that and you come out the other side where you're like, okay, that's not happening again.
Yeah.
How do I get properly trained?
Right.
Became a Spartan SGX coach, almost done with my level 2 certification. And then understanding like where mindset falls in and about how similar our philosophies have been and how I can use hypertrophy to get people past that first hump, right? To build that muscular awareness,
right?
And then take them into that physical side of it and the endurance side and incorporate more running and sprinting and about how big of a difference and impact that makes.
Right.
Running gait, your patterns, like food, fuel, nutrition, what to
key.
eat pre-race, post-race, during. Yeah. So you start putting in now, never experiment on race day.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's dangerous.
So, right.
Yeah.
So it was going through all of that it opened up a lot of doors.
Gotcha.
I had another DNF in there for the Spartan Agogi, which is a 60-hour event.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it got to the point
straight
where
60 hours.
Straight 60 hours, no sleep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I made it through 18 hours of it. And I was like, I ended up tapping out because I was mad, cold, wet, tired, hungry.
Yeah.
Like
Bad combo.
it was a combination of all the bad stuff.
Wow.
And I I was ill prepared for that. But I think that's something to where when you get to a certain point and you're comfortable inside your box, you have to be willing to risk that level of failure and to know your limits because I was definitely going to get injured if I stuck with it.
Right.
I was tripping. It was in the middle of the night. I'm tripping over stuff. I'm hallucinating.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to fasted like training and not having anything to eat. Right. So my body just wasn't ready for any of that. So now it's like my training incorporates fasted training. I train when I'm fueled. I train when I'm tired. I train when I'm fully satisfied and fully fueled. So my body has this ability to like adapt.
Always ready.
All the time now. So it's been really cool. But the training process in and of itself has been hard. But once you get into that groove and you see what your body can do with or without fuel. So this last weekend, right, I told you that I went and rode that Walker Ranch, right? Start at 20th Street in Flagstaff, ride all the way up, do the loop, come back down. And I did that entire thing fasted.
Wow.
So
wow.
yeah.
Dang. Okay.
So, but being 230 pounds, and then you can talk to an exercise physiologist or someone who understands nutrition and training, or even a bodybuilder, and say, like, do you know how much muscle you burnt in doing that? It's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care. I did it in 3.5 hours though.
That's impressive.
And body felt really, really good.
Nice.
You know, so the thing is, like, with hypertrophy and, you know, the functional training and stuff that we do, you're able to tap into all those different energy systems.
Right.
And, you know, yield a result that you're looking for.
For sure.
It's just a process, and you just kind of, I think that I've uncovered a process that works well for me.
Yeah.
And
that's key.
Right. But then I've also experimented on other people, you know, and taught them the same philosophy.
Right.
And I've seen the same experience.
Yeah.
And they've seen it too.
Awesome.
So all these guys are like hitting podiums in Spartan races now too.
Nice.
And there was, I'll wrap up here in a second, but there was one event that everything changed mentally for me.
Okay.
Before I hit, I believe it was before I hit a podium. We did a Ragnar.
Yeah. Okay.
So we did a
relay,
trail,
right?
Yep, Ragnar relay.
Okay.
Yep, it was a trail race in Utah, in Mount Zion, in Utah.
Yeah.
And so we only ended up having 7 people on our team. Supposed to have 8.
Okay.
You know, but if you have 7, you can get by with it because someone has to pick up the extra loops, right?
Gotcha.
So there's a 3-mile loop, a 7-mile, a 5-mile, and a 7-miler.
Okay.
Ish. And so I was the team captain, so I took the longer loop.
Okay.
And then I had 2 other teammates that took the mid and the short.
Okay.
And when I led our team off on the shortest loop, the first run. Yeah. So I'm the first one to go for the team for the day. Yeah. And I took off. It was a 3-miler. Okay. I treated that thing like it was a 40-meter sprint.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I took off. I bolted. I ended up 2 miles into this thing. Yeah. Actually, I was probably a mile in, and I looked behind me. There's nobody.
Oh, wow.
And I kept the heat on.
Holy cow.
Got to 2 miles. Nobody. Yeah. So it ended up being like 3.2 or 3.3 miles. Yeah. 3-mile mark. Yeah. Nobody. Yeah. 3.1, I get passed.
Really?
Dude comes up from out of nowhere. And he passed me, and then I look behind me, and there's another guy coming, and then another guy. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I ran out of gas at 3 miles. Yeah. Totally ran out of gas. Glycogen, just done. Yeah. But these guys were fast enough that they so they knew their bodies. They've done this before, and they totally had runners' bodies. Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah. And they see me running out of the gates really fast. Yeah. But what I learned was, so I ended up taking second in that heat. Okay. But what I learned was that I can push harder for shorter distances. Yeah. And if I can push harder for shorter distances and train a little bit more, how much faster can I get? Yeah. And how much better endurance can I build? Yeah. If I can do this, what else can I do? Right. That year hit my first podium on Spartan. Nice. And then this last year hit 6 for 6. Wow. Right? Yeah. So it's quite a process of personal discovery and realizing that we have so much more that we're capable of.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So it was kind of that pendulum, and that it hasn't swung back yet. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But the belief system it's like the rubber band gets stretched to a point to where there's no return. Right. So my mind has now been stretched. It's like we're capable of so much more. Absolutely. If we just apply. Yeah. And I think, I mean, it really comes down to, as they say, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Yeah. Because a lot of the time and I'm guilty of this as well, is just taking the easier route. Like, yeah, if you go this way, you're going to suffer a little bit, but you're going to grow so much more by being uncomfortable than just going the easy way. Right. And you can grow so much, and you're capable of so much more if you're just willing to put yourself in that position. Yeah. And I've come to realize this more recently now, that it's like, yeah, you gotta be uncomfortable to grow. Yeah. Have you seen the movie Onward? I have not. So it's a great movie. Okay. Super cute movie. And we got 3 kids, 10, 8, and 6, almost 6. And so Chris Pratt's one of the main characters in the movie, and then Tom Holland. Okay, Yep, right, Spider-Man. Yeah. So those 2 are the main characters in the movie. Okay. And so all animated, but it's about this journey, right, that they take. And ultimately, they could have went from home to their school and found exactly what they needed. Yeah. But instead, they go on this quest. Okay. Right? This whole journey that takes them all over the place. Yeah. And it was the process of going through that journey. And one of the brothers gets so upset because all we had to do was go straight here and we could have more time with dad.
Yeah.
But it was the process of becoming through that journey.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know why you're moving to this location or you're living in this home or wherever you're at the time. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it's like you end up in a place where you have the time to reflect and you look back and it's like, but I wouldn't have met this person, this person experienced this or this had I not done that.
Totally.
But when you're in the storm, all you see is the storm.
Right. That's so true.
It's only when you get out of it, you realize it's like, oh my gosh, look at how much I've grown.
Right.
So we learn to let ourselves up off the mat a little bit.
Yeah.
And realize it's a process.
Yeah. I think that what like Steve Jobs said, it's like you can't connect the dots moving forward. You can only see it looking back.
In reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. Hindsight's always 20/20, right?
Absolutely.
Right. One of my favorite quotes by Steve Jobs is, why join the Navy when you can be a pirate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
So, but think about that as far as innovation.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do what every other salmon is doing and swim the same pattern when you could do your own thing?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Right?
I hadn't heard that.
So think about that in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
Think about why join the Navy and do what everyone else is doing, or even online coaching.
Yeah. That's so true.
So why do what everyone else is doing?
Wow.
Now take me, for example, being a big guy that can ride, that can run, that can lift, that can do a lot of different things, but I love to hunt, I love to fish, I love to apply what it is that I do.
Right.
Take back country hunting.
Yeah.
Where you're hiking 6 to 12 miles back in with a 60-pound pack.
Yeah.
And if you get an elk, guess what you're doing?
You're packing that thing in, man.
You're carrying 200 plus pounds of meat out with your 60-pound pack.
Yeah.
So that's multiple.
No
that's multiple trips. That's a Spartan race in real life.
Yeah.
That's an ultra for real.
For sure.
Right.
It's using that fitness.
Right. So it's like, what are you training for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very cool. Very cool. And then some other cool things that you've done is you've been on Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge.
Yeah.
So let's just briefly hit on that a little bit and your experience doing that, because it's super cool. Very unique experience. So tell me a little bit about it and we'll just run through that.
Yeah, well, I got cast for that, went through the whole interview process, and then they didn't have so the Titan Games, right?
Yeah.
With Dwayne Johnson, I auditioned for that a couple of times, and then they're big into backstory. They've got a great system.
Gotcha.
I love what they do, what they stand for, especially DJ. But with Broken Skull, it was, you get cast for this thing. They bring you in, they bring some alternates in case people don't pass their drug tests and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they test everybody. And then it's when you show up, it's game day.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's
go time.
It's go time.
Okay.
Get your rest. Make sure you're all ready to go.
Gotcha.
The casting crew was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we got out there and you see all these, everyone's matched up. So every episode is matched up with people of similar size and stature.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? So ours was basically like the heavyweights, like the bigger guys.
Gotcha.
And I'm sitting in a van next to this guy, another competitor, and I'm like, wow, he's pretty big. And I have no idea what he's thinking.
Yeah.
But all I'm doing is I'm comparing myself to like these other men.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I must be one of the oldest guys here.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like I got these younger guys that are lifting cars and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm an OCR guy and I'm bigger. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So some of the doubt started to creep in.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to compartmentalize all that and just be 100% present in this given moment because I got one shot to do any of this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it everything I've got while I'm here and no mistakes.
Yeah.
No mistakes. So think clear, be present, stay focused, do your thing, what you do best, and just perform.
Awesome.
And so that's what I did. I beat one guy out after another. And I liked it because it was a lot of head-to-head stuff that was related. Like you're fighting against another man's will. He's trying to impose his will upon you, and you're trying to resist, but you impose your will upon him.
Yeah.
Right? So, and he's trying to do the same thing.
Gotcha.
So, went through all the battles and stuff, some great athletes.
Yeah.
But it was hot.
Yeah.
And so the sun's beating down on you. It was a full day event.
Yeah.
Steve Austin is awesome.
Yeah.
He's an incredible encourager.
Nice.
But the crew, I mean, they were very Hollywood. Everyone was very just awesome. Yeah, they took care of us. But you get to see some amazing athletes and see what they do. Beat everyone out, so I had the opportunity to run his half-mile course.
Nice.
And that was 100% me.
Yeah.
You don't even know how it ended because you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I have not.
So let's just say,
people want to watch it. Where can they see it? Like what?
So you can rent it. You can rent it on iTunes. I believe on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
I believe you can get it too. But it's on iTunes.
Okay.
And of course we bought it. You know,
Yeah.
it's $4. So we've got the episode, and the kids like to watch it. They like to see Dad on TV.
That's awesome.
And but yeah, so I gave it everything I could. You got to run with the 75-pound log on your shoulder for a quarter mile downhill. Dang. So you got to haul this log, and then you got to do all these different moves. And actually, in my binder, I took my binder with me, and I was making notes because I did a walkthrough, right? A safety walkthrough on all the, like, these are the do's and don'ts for every single obstacle, right? So you got to know what you're doing.
Gotcha.
And you're allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
So they ran us through the do's and don'ts.
Okay.
And as I'm doing this, I'm visualization for bodybuilding.
Yep.
I was the same thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't really practice a routine.
Yeah.
I visualized it.
Gotcha.
And rehearsed it like literally 200 times in my mind.
Yeah.
So that when I stepped on stage, it was so fluid.
Yeah.
Because I already just mentally did it all.
Yeah.
Right. But I never did it physically.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That's powerful.
How powerful your mind is. So I rehearsed this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I wrote down the distance, every step I took, I counted in my head. Okay. So I measured like how far it was between these obstacles and how I was going to do the landing pads. Yeah. You know, all the different obstacles that were in there and approximately how much time it was going to take. Yeah. So I had like a sub 6 or sub 5 minute time in my head.
Okay.
And then given any error, I was going to be able to do this thing in 6 minutes.
Okay.
So I was telling myself sub 5 minute time. So I had a minute of grace.
Yeah.
Because if I were perfect on everything, I could have done it. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't going to be because I didn't factor in the exhaust and fatigue and the adrenaline dump that you were going to experience. So I gave myself a margin of error. Yeah. And I'm pushing through this thing. I set 2 course records, right? Wow. And just pounded this course.
That's wild.
And I did great. There was some hesitation in a couple of them that I could have gone faster. Yeah. But I got to the rope. Yeah. And I'm out of gas.
Oh man.
And so I start climbing the rope, and Heather and I, we were talking. She's like, see these people climbing the rope. It's like, you gotta get that bell. You know, it's like, it's 20 feet up there. We climb ropes all the time in Spartan race and this and that. It's like, that's no issue. So I'm like, well, I'm out of gas, but I'm just going to go for this thing because I know how fatigued I am.
Right.
I'm 6 minutes in, start climbing the rope. It rained that night.
Oh, good.
Right. So the rope, it's a big fat rope and it's soaking wet. And I'm climbing this thing and get to the point where my hip flexors are shot.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And I'm 4 feet from the bell.
Oh, man.
And I can't J-hook the rope anymore.
Yeah.
There's too much rope weight down there. So I'm like, damn it. I got to descend.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to beat the time.
Yeah. That's brutal.
But I'm going to beat the course.
Yeah.
So I'm going to descend. I'm going to go down, shake it out. Yeah. I'm going to go back up. I'm going to hit the bell. I'm going to at least beat the course then. Right. Right. I'm not going to win my 10 grand. I'm not going to dethrone Hunter. Yeah. Right. But I'm going to at least beat the course. Yeah. So I consciously made the decision to descend off the rope. Okay. As soon as I come down, I can't regrip.
Oh, no.
My grip is fried.
Oh, geez.
I free fell 22 feet.
Holy cow.
Landed on my back.
Oh, no.
Right. Yeah. So then who shows up? We got the fire trucks. We got the ambulance.
Oh, my gosh.
I get an ambulance ride to the hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
And I've got a huge rope burn scar on my shin. Yeah. But the rope burn created the drag that allowed my body to fall back and landed on my back.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So it's a perfect fall.
Wow. That's lucky.
No broken bones, no internal bleeding, no nothing. Dang. Landed like a sack of potatoes. Yeah. And
holy cow.
Yeah, so
that's wild.
Everything was good. I ended up walking out of the hospital 2 hours later, had to sign the release saying I'm refusing medical care and advice. Yeah. And walked out, ended up flying home that night.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, we did a post interview and everything. They invited me back if they had another season and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, it was an awesome experience.
Very cool.
Very cool. And then Hunter, we ended up becoming friends and we do some training from time to time together. So he's over in the Colorado area. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. That's so built up some great relationships in the process and yeah.
Yeah. You've done a lot of cool stuff. It's awesome. Yeah. Awesome to see.
Yep.
But if people want to like find you online or reach out to you if they have any questions, where can they find you?
Well, I mean, I guess the most visible spot is Instagram. It's just my name, Zach J. Vogel.
Okay.
So I've got that right now. I've also got the Instagram Heroes Training System.
Yep.
So that I just started.
Okay.
Right. So, but yeah, I'm new. I'm a late bloomer to this whole the social media thing because we've been so focused on family and building our brand. Our business changed, you know, about a year ago. So just a lot of changes financially and for our family.
Gotcha.
You know, Heather, she's not supposed to run anymore.
Yeah.
She's got hip dysplasia, and osteoarthritis in one of her hips.
Oh,
so
man.
that's why she can ride.
Yeah.
But she's not supposed to run.
Gotcha.
Right. So we're just kind of navigating waters of things that we can do together.
Yeah.
So she's getting into hunting. So we're going to go do some crazy hunting and stuff
that's gonna be
together.
fun.
So
nice.
yeah. So we're able to do, we invest a lot of time in the family.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
you have a website too. What's the website?
Yep. heroestrainingsystems.com.
There we go.
Yep. And that's a process of becoming as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we do a lot of online coaching. So I've coached clients all the way as far as Egypt, you know, so it's like we do a lot of global stuff.
Very cool.
But yeah, I mean, if people are looking for overall hypertrophy, if they're looking for OCR, you know, obstacle course racing training, things like that, or if they're just looking for functional training, trim down, tone up, all of that stuff. So it's really catered to whatever a person's specifically looking for.
Nice. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So I like to end it with asking for you to give one last piece of advice. Now that can be like life advice, training advice, anything, but one last piece of Zach Vogel advice that you have for people.
Oh man. I would say it's probably, so our logo, for Heroes, and you know what it stands for, what it represents. It's really taking ownership, right? So the whole be the hero, because no one's coming to save you, right?
So true.
So whatever it is that you do, it's like you've got so much inside of you, and sometimes it takes someone else believing that you're capable of so much more, and giving you a path to eliminate those gray areas to kind of straighten that path before you're ready for the really rugged terrain, right? So that you can become that best version of yourself. So to be the hero, like what that means, because there's no one's going to do it for you. And if they could, would you really want them to anyway?
Yeah, that's great.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So cool. Zach, thank you again so much for letting me come into your home, work out in your gym, and then just talk to you about all kinds of cool stuff.
Hey, you're welcome anytime.
I appreciate it.
In casa, su casa. So
we'll do the flex off sign off. And I think you probably have the bigger biceps of anyone that's been on here. So we'll just flex off the sign off. You ready? We'll do it at the camera. Ready?
There we go.
Flex off, sign off. Boom. Nice.